beautiful soul. Welcome to the Quantum Business Queen podcast. This podcast is a vortex for activating wealth, riches, and boss bitches. It is here that I teach multi-dimensional business. Our content will fall under 3 different categories: 5D quantum creation, 4D frequency alchemy, and the most potent 3D strategy. Every aspect of business that contributes to the creation of success is covered here. Plus, I will be personally interviewing the most amazing boss bitches that are at the forefront of the game, paving the way for money, magic, and magnetism in business. Let's get ready to activate all of that within you. So I'm really excited to talk about the stuff I'm going to talk about today, because this is a totally new one that's come through, and I really feel it's something that's happening collectively. So again, this is going to be that, hopefully that next level shift for you guys. Like, living through embodiment is ultimate freedom, because you're living in your truth, not everyone else's truth. And then trying to contradict what your body is saying with the concept that you've learned. You want to integrate your full body knowing with concepts you learn and you accept as a truth. And so hopefully that will help you guys take everything to that next level. So I sat this morning in my little zone, in my vortex, and a really potent quote came through. Your subconscious assumptions around who you are is the extent by which you experience your potential. And I want to talk about this. Because if you look up if you look up the definition of identity, the fact of being, or what a person or thing is, what we think, who we think we are, what we think we're capable of. And what we actually don't realize, it's our subconscious programming that is driving how we see ourselves. And how we see ourselves is the extent by which we experience our potential. I really want you guys to let that sink in. How you view yourself is the extent by which you experience your potential. And this especially, these kind of wounds and potential wounds. I mean, and there's obviously amazing things, hopefully you guys all see about yourselves, but the wounds around how you perceive yourself is magnified, especially in the entrepreneurial journey. Because all of the who am I to do this? What value do I have to give? All of those storylines are coming from programmings that have been interweaved into your identity. So remember that. Now, this is a really interesting thing, because when you start shifting your identity, the energy of your identity actually sits on the outside of your aura. It radiates. When somebody just walks into a room and they're just radiating something, it's the energy that sits on the outside of the aura. And so when you start shifting your perspective and your programming around your identity, you start literally shifting the energy that is radiating from the outside of your aura. And so when you start anchoring into newness around re-identifying with your potential, people are going to be like, I don't know what's going on with you, but there's just something new. I can't put my finger on it, but something's different about you. When I heard we don't manifest what we want, manifest who we are, that's such a game changer. Yeah, that's exactly what I'm talking about here. And what we are is who we identify with. Who we are is what we think we identify as what our potential is. Okay. So here is such an important way, when you're in your knowing, of you are here with pure potentiality. You are here to serve on the highest level with literally the highest potential. And you sit in that knowing and you feel that opening up your cells because it feels good. That is your truth. And I want you all to just take a second for a minute. Take a minute out and just sit, literally visualize yourself right now in your vortex. This is super important. Visualize yourself in your vortex of energy and in your vortex of light, and the deep and limitless knowing that you are nothing but pure potentiality. I want you to just sit in that. Anything that tries to creep in and contradict it, just bat it out with a tennis racket. Bat it away and sit in that knowing. Sit in that knowing and let that knowing recode your cells. Yes. Just totally surrender. You are worthy to accept that you are here with limitless potential. And this is the energy you need to really anchor into the potency of divine impact and service. And if you can start identifying with this energy, like this is your main thing that you use to link who you are with who you're being, this energy, this potential, you will start literally shifting the fabric of your reality, because you can only experience your potential through what you identify with as a being. So when you see yourself, okay, here's another thing I want you guys to do. When you see yourself and you know that there's potential there, you know, you can see yourself in your highest timeline. And some of us don't even allow ourselves to see that next level timeline. Why don't we allow ourselves to see that next level timeline? Because there's a part of it we can't actually identify with. There's a gap between that version of you who's there doing it now. This is how the quantum works. There's no way your mind could conceive of a reality that's not already done, mapped out perfectly. Now, if you're not allowing yourself to see that, it's because you are not allowing yourself to identify with that potential. And it's because, like, think of what the gaps are for you. If you're here, this timeline is here, this amazing human is here. And of course, the amazing human is here still as well, but just with a heavier load, a heavier load of distortions that we get to one by one identify, look at, and release. So if you're here, you're climbing to this next layer of freedom and abundance and ultimately truth, knowing who you are and what you came here to do. And you have this human person here that's watching me now. What is filling the gaps around how you perceive yourself? What is the buffer of storylines that's keeping you from merging into that person? And this is where it becomes really powerful, and allow yourself to say it. Like, okay, well, I don't feel worthy, or who am I to do? Who's going to listen to me? They're all stories. None of them are truths. There are no truths. You get to pick your truths. And if you pick your truths that are light and unhook from the dense truths, you become buoyant and you start floating. Your cells hold more light, and all of a sudden it feels effortless to merge because you're no longer weighed down by all the anchors. But you have to see, you have to allow yourself to see who you're identifying with right now. What version of you are you identifying and that you've accepted as your identity? What limitations are you identifying with? And this is okay. Of course, we're doing this from a place of just gracious, unbiased observing and compassion for the things we've been through and how we've been molded in our journey. Because we know it hasn't been easy. But the very things that you're identifying with could potentially be the very things that are not allowing you to experience your potential. Just want you to sit in that one for a secchi. Identity work is so freaking powerful. And you hear entrepreneurs talking about it all the time, like, who's the millionaire version of you? What would that version of you do? This is actually what they mean when you really go deep into this. So you can't experience your potential if you're hanging on to a dense identity. If you're not seeing yourself for the light that you are, you're no different to me. You're no different to anyone else who is living in, whatever sort of life that you are wanting to anchor into your current reality. You're no different to any of those people at all in terms of potential. The difference is the stories that you've not let go of. The anchors that you're carrying, the weight that that's burdening you. And when you start to release them, you become buoyant, and then you start to merge with newness. Now, I want to bring this in your conscious awareness because it's oftentimes so subconscious you don't realize it. You're just being you, and sometimes you just feels heavy, and you don't know why it feels heavy because you've been you your whole life. But when we start to open your eyes as to why you can feel heavy, or why it feels hard, or why you perpetuate density or frustration. It's when we bring this into the light of your awareness It puts you in a place of being able to choose because you finally see it. Before you haven't seen it, you've just experienced the symptoms of it. And so this is why this is so important. Again, this whole journey is just breaking the spells of density. And it's been a spell because you haven't been able to witness it. You felt you're just feeling the symptoms of it and feel powerless. But again, when we bring this out into the open, we set it in front of you and shine a light on it for us to look at. Yeah, it might not be pretty, might not be fun, but this is how we shift out of it quickly. This is how we start transmuting like time and space, because we finally let go of the anchors. Now, I want to teach you another way to play with this and to help you pinpoint like, oh, that's what this is when I feel this, and then bring it to the light, bring it to the open so we can sit it on this platter and observe it. I'm going to talk about something called subconscious assumptions. Now, this is something that's kind of been newly coming into my awareness. I spoke about it today on Instagram briefly. Not that any of you see that, but this is really interesting again because I see this. This was kind of happening within the mastermind that I'm in, and I quickly helped them transmute what was going on, and it was because of subconscious assumptions. Now, the one example I can use when it comes to how you know you're running a negative subconscious assumption is when you pay an invoice. Now, whenever you're in a position of paying an invoice or whatever, whenever I'm paying one of my contractors or a coach or whatever, they send me an invoice and I always reply paid with pleasure. And it literally feels pleasurable. It sounds weird. But I want you to put yourself in a position of paying an invoice. I would say 99.99999% of humanity feels some sort of contraction or density whenever they have to release money, pull money out and release it out to the ethers. What is the subconscious assumption around this? The subconscious assumption around this is void. Think about that for a second. Now remember, you are the creator of your reality. If you're assuming that you send your money out and you are left with a void, guess what you're perpetuating? Void. So whenever I send money out, I assume I am perpetuating a massive give-receive energy. Like I'm going to get paid tenfold, even if it's not from that person, and most likely will never be from that person because I pay them, they're a contractor or whatever. But I assume I am activating a massive reciprocal energy of give and receive. So my subconscious assumption is abundance. And what happens is that abundance, when it's hard when you have a subconscious assumption around something and you're trying to identify with something else. So for example, I have a subconscious assumption of me being able to activate, give and receive energies through me paying people. And I have an identity that I'm abundant. And so my subconscious assumptions and my identity are working cohesively together. But when your subconscious assumptions and your identity can contradict, it's like you feel like, again, there's this kind of internal battle happening. So what I want you to do is feel into anything when you feel your cells contract. We're so used to feeling that contraction energy, it just becomes a part of us. We don't ever think to analyze it. We just know that, oh, this feels uncomfortable, but this is normal. We don't think to go in and discover, why does this feel uncomfortable? It feels uncomfortable because it's scary. Why does it feel scary? It feels scary because I'm giving something away. Well, why does that feel scary? Because then I feel like I'm left with a void, and there's maybe a belief that now I have less and that's not going to be replenished. That's why paying people feels hard a lot of the time. It's like you're giving something back that's not going to be replenished. So this is subconscious assumption is perpetuating very sneakily this programming. And it's probably, depending on where you're at right now in your reality, potentially coinciding with your identity. Now, if you assume that you're always going to be activating some sort of abundance, no matter what you're doing, any transaction, it's like, boom, paid with pleasure. Woo, I'm activating lots today. And my identity is abundant. I'm going to be a magnet toward abundance. But if I have a subconscious assumption that anytime a transaction happens, I'm left with void, that energy literally, it comes from your embodiment and goes out, and it will start intermingling with the frequencies in your aura. We interrupt this awesome podcast episode to tell you about my life-changing Quantum Business Academy. If you are ready to take your business to the next levels of abundance and freedom, then you're definitely going to want to hear more. Please don't take my word for it though. Here is one of our alumni sharing their experience.
Wow, where do I even begin with QBA and serotonin and my time in the container? Let's start with knowing that I have the permission to create my wildest, deepest, biggest vision. I had my highest cash day. I completely changed the direction of my business. I landed in my purpose and my passion. I felt like being a part of it all has given me the permission to truly be me and make the deepest impact possible. Yeah, wow. Serotonin and QBA changed my life. It was so deeply healing to be in a space with like-minded people who are service-based, here to literally serve other souls, and to be held in such a space where you can come as you are and you are seen in your unique gifts, your talents, your desires, and to have your vision come to life around other beautiful people is something that I will be forever grateful for. And being led by Sarah in all of her vulnerability, her humor, her loving, unconditional, nurturing ways. Wow. Honestly, wow. If you want to know more, then please head over to my show notes, book a call with me, or you can message me in DMs. Now let's get back to the podcast. This will very sneakily kind of drop you into just the undercurrent of scarcity, and also you're not going to identify. It's going to be super hard to identify with this abundant human being that you are with pure potentiality when you're activating subconscious assumptions of void all the time. Does this make sense? So this is the example I use, but you can think about it. Anytime anything feels dense, start shining a light as to why and peeling back the layers. Because when you shine the light, remember, density contract literally from a cellular level. You feel your body contract. This is what muscle testing is, you guys, as well. You know, your body is the organ of truth. Your body is just telling you the truth of your subconscious assumptions. When you feel, tap, pay, buy money, nice knowing ya. So what is actually happening is when you're contracting, you're squeezing out light. You're squeezing you out of you. We don't want that to happen. We want you to be buoyant, full of your own truth. Your own truth is that you are abundance. You are abundance. Your soul resonates at the same frequency as abundance, meaning you already have it all. You are a billionaire. You want for nothing because you already have it all. And when you align your subconscious assumptions with that in everything you do, you will radiate that through to your identity. So I wanted to talk about the ease of things, the ease of manifestation. I want you to tune into the ease of creation. Tune into something that's so freaking easy and feel your body and your cells just totally relax into that. Yeah. And so I want you guys to play with this. Anytime I'm really wanting to awaken you to this. When it feels like you're not a deliberate creator, it's because of the subconscious assumptions in your cells. Because you say something and there's an assumption that contradicts it and you go, your body just goes, I don't know about that. So take something that is just so easy. You just know you can create that. What is that? And a lot of times it's kind of like a baseline amount of money you'll be able to just call in effortlessly. I want you to take that effortless feeling and apply it to a new manifestation. And any contradiction, any contraction you feel, it's not like you ignore it. Just have a look at it. What's this assumption? What's this assumption that's making me contract? It doesn't have to be anything to do with money. It could be anything that is easy. Just so the only reason I'm using that is just for an example that you can bring in, because this is how we play with embodiment, right? It's all about our body. Doesn't matter what our mind accepts. It's what our body accepts, because our body is actually a replica of everything we believe. And what we believe is what we emit out as an energy. And this is why we can have contradicting things happen, because our mind wants to accept it, but our embodiment's like, yeah, but that's not been my experience. Sorry, that's not my truth yet. So you are not a timeline away from your goals, my friend. You are frequency away, because you need to make sure you embody and identify with the full value that you have to offer. This is a massive thing. Again, I'm seeing happening with entrepreneurs or creators, whatever you identify with, artists. You guys are all artists. When you're not aligned with something you want to experience, it's because you're not potentially identifying with it. So I want you guys to play with this. When you're paying for something, when you're trying to manifest, what automatically conjures up in your body? What subconscious assumptions are there? Because if you're trying to tell yourself you're identifying with one thing and your subconscious assumptions are contradicting that story, again, you're going to have this internal battle, which is okay, because this is how we birth. This is how we create. We can't create without these two things. It's like builds up momentum but just play with it. You know, this is why it's so powerful to have this amazing body that is an organ, because it will tell us what we're assuming by way of contraction or expansion and freaking ease. Ease, ease, ease. And again, simultaneously unplugging from my physical reality, because it's just an embodied knowing. When I say it's done, it's the release and the tension, because you embody the belief that it's done. And then you identify with that person. And then it gets to be easy. So anytime you feel your body going, ugh, just sit, okay, this is my opportunity now. This is my programming revealing itself. It's trying to be squeezed out of me, which is great, because now I can witness it, and then I can break the spell of it. But before that, it's just like we've just been so asleep. We've just been used to having the past 30 years of our life, or whatever amount of time, feeling heavy around money or paying bills. That's just how my life's been. So whatever. But now I want you to start questioning any sort of tension that comes in your body. And then ask yourself what assumption that you've made about that, because that assumption is what you perpetuate. And then that will filter into your identity. So when you go to put yourself out there to clients, does it feel easy and light, or does it feel, I don't know. And if you're trying to identify with a really successful practitioner, entrepreneur, or whatever, but then you have these subconscious assumptions going, ugh, I don't know. What is that? I don't know. Pull it out. Let yourself see it. Sometimes it's scary. Am I valuable enough? Do I have enough to give? Can I actually help somebody? Will they be taking money and me not being able to give? Whatever. What's running there? What is running there? You know, like I remember being a kinesiologist. I loved what I did. I didn't actually want to be booked out though. Like that felt pretty heavy. Although it would give me significance, it would be evidence that I am successful and worthy because I'm booked out. I would look successful. So in that sense, yeah, I want to be booked out, but really it felt heavy in my body. So again, I want you to question, like, is this something I'm buying into externally so it keeps me in alignment with how society views me? And so I'm going to fall out of my vortex and my own alignment to fulfill that? Or is this a full embodied what I'm feeling I want? And then this is like when you tune into your body, this is how you start breaking open all of these programs. The only way I know any of what I talk about, it's not because I've read it in a book. It's because my whole journey has been breaking open programs and being able to witness them and then tell as many people as possible about them so they can break it open too. Yeah, you don't need to know the how ever. Oh God, the how is a distortion. Massive matrix plugin. Yeah, so this is it, you guys. This is this next layer. Subconscious assumptions that we get to reprogram. And then when you start playing with the energy around your aura, knowing you are freaking so worthy and beyond to be the full boss bitch in your life. Beyond. Whatever it is you want, whatever desire you have, that's your soul, like literally giving you feedback around what's happening in your highest timeline. But it's these weights, these assumptions that we're not worthy, that we're not enough, that we're not this or that, and wherever it came from. That's the weight that's not allowing us to be buoyant and collapse time into this place.
And I told you guys how and it can be easy. Let it be easy in your cells. Whatever contradicts the ease is the programming you pull out and look at. It's the story. So important. So easy. And I'm not saying you're not going to have to do hard work. I do hard work, but I love it. It's passion work. You know, like when your business is new, it's a baby. You can't just say, well, this needs to be easy. You do need to put the nurture into it as you would a newborn baby, and it will start to grow and grow and grow. And then all of a sudden, like the life cycle, it will start to take care of you more. But I just want you guys to look at what is the subconscious assumption that is contradicting your ease. That is probably one of the most powerful things that you will discover about yourself. What is the subconscious assumption that is contradicting your ease? Because lack of ease is resistance. Resistance equals no manifestation. And if there's something in your story that's not allowing you to experience ease, it's because there's something in you that doesn't believe that you're a creator, that you're worthy, that you can actually do this or that, whatever. So look at those beliefs and start to feel into the identity of this person and the values that this identity holds, the belief that this identity holds in order to be that identity. And again, there's nothing that I have created that is not available to you guys tenfold. Plain and simple. Okay. I want to just kind of end this conversation. Somebody said this wasn't, somebody gave this example. I don't know. This stuck with me, and I probably heard this months ago. But when you look at somebody that's trying to quit, like a smoker, when they say, oh, like somebody offers them a cigarette and they say, no, I'm trying to quit, they still have a subconscious assumption that they're a smoker. I'm trying to quit, but I'm still a smoker. If they were to say, no, I'm not a smoker, they have identified with, I'm not in that timeline anymore. So are you trying to quit, or have you collapsed into a new timeline and you're just not that person anymore? So think about that. Are you trying? Because if you're trying, there's a subconscious assumption that you're still that person. If you're saying, nope, I don't do that anymore, you're in a new timeline, baby. You've done it. Even if you do have to convince yourself it's for a second, it's okay. It's a muscle you build. But remember that. Say, is this the smoker talking? That I'm trying to be something, but I'm still holding on to it because there's some sort of gain here. There's something in me that needs to hold on to this old thing that I identify with. Or is it, no, I am not this. How powerful does that feel to be able to choose? It feels so freaking good, doesn't it? And it feels so powerless to be in that number one place where it's like you're contradicting yourself. You're trying to go one way, but there's a part of you that doesn't quite want to let it go yet. That's where you give all your power away. It's this energy of, you're trying to hold this. You're trying to not want it. So you're trying to move away, but what's happening is you're pulling yourself apart when you do that. You're not trying to quit. You're not that. I'm not a smoker. Smoker is like probably a dense example, but you guys get it, right? I am not a whatever. You fill in the blank. And so then what decisions would that person make? Do you know what I mean? So when somebody comes up to you and says, hey, I want a session. Can you help me with? Hell yeah, I can. So then you got to take it to that next level of I am this. What decisions who does this person embody? How do they make decisions? And this starts perpetuating and then activating that timeline. And it's not going to be, so, if you're waiting for like the perfect clean canvas for it all to like, that's never going to happen. You have to trudge through it a little bit, kind of trudge through the density and force your way out of it sometimes. That's okay. So if you're waiting for like the perfect lightness environment, no, you'll be waiting. You can choose and it can still feel like, oh, fuck. And it will, because it's the unknown for your ego. And this is why people hold on to the I'm trying to quit versus I am not a. They hold on to the I'm trying because it's still familiar. It's the intention behind like who you're taking a stand for being. It's really that. I remember, I don't know if you guys have watched the Taylor Swift documentary. I love her. I don't know. There's something about her. I really love it. But she talks about, I've said this before, like the power in storytelling. But she also talked about how she got to this place of she never used the word eating disorder, but she was very skinny and she wouldn't eat to the point where she said she'd faint on stage, and it was becoming an issue for her. And, there would be things that would trigger her in the news and the media, and all of a sudden it would trigger that thing. And she said the second, she would say, I'm not that person. We're not doing this anymore. I'm not that person. That kept her from getting into this downward dark spiral of I'm not good enough. I need to be skinnier. I need to be this. If it's not this, then I can't be successful. All of that. She's just like, no, I'm not that anymore. And she immediately took all of her power back. And it's in those moments of trigger. And again, this is because you can tune into your aura and see what the trigger pictures are behind all of these stories. And this is what you get to shift out to the point where you're not even triggered by it. You don't even have to say I'm not, because it's not even in your consciousness. People just assume that because you're radiating that in your identity. It's so powerful. Oh, I love this. Your subconscious assumptions around who you are is the extent by which you experience your potential. Just remember that.
Thank you so much for listening today, beautiful soul. I hope you got so much gold and were activated in such a way that you could step into your highest timeline of abundance and freedom, because it is more than possible for you. If that desire has been planted in your soul, it is so deliberate. If you wouldn't mind, please rate, review, subscribe to this podcast so that we can get this message into the hearts and ears of more amazing light beings across the world. I would love to continue this conversation with you, so feel free to get in touch on Instagram at sarah.tynan.quantumcoach. If you're a Facebook person, you can find me on Facebook at facebook.com/Sarah Tynan International. And please don't ever forget, if your desire is there, it's because your destiny is there too. You just have to remember who you are. Bye for now, beautiful.